Hey everybody, this is another continuation of the Power of the Name, and we are now at Eber. And Eber, also found in Genesis chapter 11 in the line of Shem. He was born in 1723 AC after creation, and his name in Hebrew means one that passes, anger, the region beyond. And the event tied to this and the current history is 1723, the resolutions of Jonathan Edwards, also the Treaty of St. Petersburg. Let's see how it makes sense. Amidst all this uncertainty and flux, this young man, Jonathan Edwards, needed both a place to stand and a compass for some direction. So he took to writing. He kept a diary and he penned some guidelines which he came to call his resolutions. Okay. These resolutions would supply both that place for him to stand and a compass to guide him as he made his way. There was a time, church historian Sean Lucas once pointed out, when Jonathan Edwards wasn't Jonathan Edwards. That is to say, there was a time before Jonathan Edwards was the great theologian and pastor that he is now known to be. In 1722 and 1723, during his 19th year, he was just Jonathan Edwards. The Great Awakening and his involvement in it, the publication of Religious Affections, Life of Brainerd, and Freedom of the Will, not to mention many other books, sermons, and writings, enough to fill many shelves. The missionary work at Stockbridge, and the presidency of Princeton University, then known as the College of New Jersey, were all off in the distance. That Jonathan Edwards, the subject of many books, dissertations, conferences, and even websites, was not yet. At age 19, Jonathan Edwards was the potential Jonathan Edwards. The region beyond. Get it? The potential Jonathan Edwards? In other words, he has somewhere to go to become the Jonathan Edwards we know and love, the one who made the resolutions of Jonathan Edwards. So, Aristotle spoke of the difference between actuality and potentiality, the difference between what is and what can be. The region beyond. Aristotle further spoke of actual being as real being, while potential being as something less. At this point, the self-help gurus step in, offering you 7 secrets to becoming the best you can be. If you attend the seminar and buy the workbook and sign up 7 others, but Edwards is about as far from being a self-help guru as he could possibly be. His resolutions are equally distant from the workbooks taken home after the seminar. Edwards' resolutions do what all the self-help and how-to books can't. They accomplish what these others can't accomplish because, from start to finish, they are entirely different from the books crowding out the self-help and how-to shelves of bookstores. Which brings in the Treaty of St. Petersburg. The Treaty of St. Petersburg of the 21st September in 1723 concluded the Russo-Persian War between Imperial Russia and Safavid Iran. It ratified for Iran's forced ceding of its territories in the North Caucasus, South Caucasus, and contemporary mainland northern Iran, comprising Derbent, Dagestan, same one, Baku, the respective surrounding lands of Shirvan, as well as the provinces of Gilan, Mazandaran, and Astrabad. The treaty further specified that the Iranian king would receive Russian troops for domestic peacekeeping. As the Cambridge History of Iran states, on the 23rd September 1723, his ambassador in St. Petersburg, Ismail Beg, signed a humiliating treaty which stipulated that the Tsar would accord the Shah friendship and help against rebels and would maintain the Shah in tranquil possession of his throne. In return, the Shah promised to permanently cede to Russia the towns of Darband, Baku, with all the territories belonging to them, as well as the provinces Gilan, Mazandaran, and Astrabad, so that they might support the forces which His Imperial Majesty the Tsar will send to help His Shahian Majesty against rebels, without demanding money for it. The signatory on the Safavid side was the envoy Ismail Beg, or Ismail Bey, who had been sent by King Tahmasp II himself. However, when the treaty arrived in the temporary capital of Kazvin in April 1724, Tahmasp II had not agreed with the negative terms of the treaty, and it was thus therefore not ratified by him, as by then it was clear that the Russians, though having occupied the Iranian territories, were too small to pose a threat to Iran, even though the latter had been seriously weakened through 1720s events. This resulted in him being forced to flee punishment upon return, and therefore died in exile in Astrakhan some 20 years later. All conquered and gained territories were returned to Iran, which was now led by the emerging Nader Shah in 1732 and 1735 respectively, under the terms of the Treaty of Resht and Treaty of Ganja, during the rule of Empress Anna Janovna. Joannova. Yeah, there you go. Joannova. Joannovna. 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 Yeah, that sounds good. So, see, we had one that passed up that treaty because of his anger. And we also had that region of beyond with the resolutions of Jonathan Edwards and the quote by that person saying that he had not always been that. This was like a region beyond him that came to him later in life. In fact, I'll reread it. It was by historian Sean Lucas that pointed out that Jonathan Edwards wasn't Jonathan Edwards. That is to say, there was a time before Edwards was a great theologian and pastor that he is now known to be. During his 19th year, he was Jonathan Edwards. The Great Awakening and involvement in it, the publication of religious affections, all the writings that he did were all far off in the distance, in the region beyond. At age 19, Jonathan Edwards was the potential Jonathan Edwards, is his quote. So, I think that's pretty interesting. Jonathan Edwards was in a region beyond himself at age 19. And then you had the one who passed up on the opportunity for the treaty, the Tsar, because of his anger towards that treaty, which would take everything from them. And he was angry at Russia because they were too weak to fulfill this contract. So no, he would not follow through with that treaty. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you continue watching in the future, my future videos. Have a good day or night wherever you're watching from.